Hey everyone, I want to show you a nice exercise that I learned 10 years ago, back when I started the visual design school. This is a very simple exercise and it gives you a sense of what is visual communication, what is graphic design. Before we start, before we start playing with typography and colors and layouts and interactive stuff and all that, the most basic thing that we can do is take the most simple forms, the most simple shapes, is rectangle, square, and circle, and put them on an artboard. And each artboard represent a feeling or something that we want to communicate. So instead of just communicating something with word, we need to put this on paper and play with those shapes. Maybe the triangle is big and on the left side, maybe it's on the right side, maybe it's close to the rectangle. So this is, I think, the most important exercise for someone that begins with visual design. That way he understands what is a composition. It's not about composition, it's more about stains, and to see the artboard as a bunch of stains that represent something, that communicate something here in the stomach. So let's get started and to see what I mean. I've created three artboards with three labels above them. The one is loneliness, the second one is hope, and the third one is happiness. And we need to communicate those things using three shapes: a circle, let's add a rectangle, and let's add a triangle. So what we can do with these shapes, we can rotate them however we want. We can change their size, okay? And we can put them in different places, and we can even put them a bit outside the artboard. It doesn't really matter, okay? So we can cut them. So if we're talking about loneliness, perhaps this rectangle can be in the bottom right corner, while the circle is very big and the rectangle is here. Okay, let's take these three shapes and put them in the hope artboard. And perhaps hope is the rectangle can be centered into the artboard, and we can put something like this. It gives me the feeling of something that is structured and bold. It doesn't really mean that this artboard, loneliness, is more illustrative, because we can see the rectangle as like someone that want to communicate with these shapes, but he can't really. But from this artboard with the hope, um, it's not really illustrative. It's just how the composition is built. It's very structured. Is in the middle of the artboard, and in a way, it gives me a sense of hope. But that's maybe just me. Perhaps there are more ways to do that. For sure, there is more than one way. So let's see what we can do. Perhaps we can create hope by putting the circle here and put the rectangle here. And create a shape that again makes sense or doesn't make any sense. It's a bit of an abstract art, you can call it, and everyone can absorb it in its own way. But we the exercise is about us trying to communicate stuff that we didn't communicate them by visual. And happiness, let's try a composition for happiness. We can make that big. By doing so, this is very, very happy, jumpy, no boundaries. It's in the middle of some process or something has happened. It looks very, very, looks happy. This thing looks lonely. Let's try to make it more lonely. Oh. Okay, let's even do this. So this is the exercise, and it looks, perhaps it looks kind of dumb, but after 10 years of designing layouts and dashboards and stuff that gets complicated, I think that this is the most important exercise for someone who begins with visual design, to understand how shapes work on an artboard between each other and in relation to the artboard and how they represent a feeling. So, thank you.